So I'm pleased to see a video I made earlier this week about bismuth got almost 200 likes. I think it's my first video to get so many likes in a very long time. And I'm really excited because I'm proposing that we all try to squeeze the bismuth market because it's going to be used in green energy and nuclear energy. And I decided on November 7th because it's Mary Curie's birthday. And bismuth is used to make an element she discovered, polonium-210. I mean, there's probably a few atoms of that in here because there's background neutron radiation, if you will. And as a child, I had a crush on her, believe it or not. And more importantly, I wanted to meet somebody who was both attractive and smart, right? At the time, I had a lot of difficulties with girls my age because I beat it at a different wavelength, right? So November 7th, we're all going to buy as much bismuth as we can reasonably buy. It is so cheap that even if everybody in the third world just took 50 cents and bought bismuth, it could move the market. That's how ridiculously small this market is, right? I did a calculation one time. You don't even have to be in the United States to try to buy a sizable amount of it. This is GameStop, but for third world, right? That's how small. That's how ridiculously small this is. So Mary Curie discovered polonium, which is now produced with neutron activation of bismuth. At the time, she found naturally occurring polonium, which is very rare, right? She also discovered radium and radiation. She was the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes. Even to this day, only 4 women have won the Nobel Prize. More importantly, she fought injustices against women in scientific research at the time. And so she turns 155 years old on November 7th. Now, when I was working on my PhD, I dated a distant descendant of Mary Curie, and my mom was very upset about that. She thought it would ruin our family lineage if I married somebody outside of our race. This was 15 years ago when it was popular to say this, and my family's relatively well off. Not wealthy, but well off enough that they're going to leave some money behind to me. Not a lot. I mean, not retirement money. But then my mom mentioned that, if you marry somebody like that and you have children, our money's going to be left behind to, one of those people. This was 15 years ago when it was popular to say that. Well, fast forward 15 years later, and now she wants me to meet somebody, even if it's like that, just as long as we have somebody to leave our money to, right? She doesn't believe in the idea that when I pass away that I might leave my money to maybe the Desert Botanical Garden, because it has given me so much joy to go there and record videos there, or maybe leave it to fund scientific research in nuclear energy. My mom's worried that it's going to end up like that now. I think she just wants to see some grandchildren, that's all. The money's just an excuse. My mom is too well off to worry about where her money is going. But I'm okay with meeting somebody, just not romantically. I may get married in my lifetime, but it will be marrying a close friend who also is solosexual, right? Of either gender, by the way, is okay with me. But another story that really inspired me as a child was the Hunt brothers. I learned about the Hunt brothers when I started collecting coins. I started collecting coins around the time of the State Quarters program, 1999. And around the same time, my parents were constantly arguing about money that my dad had lost gambling in the stock market. Now, my mom says that she remembers years earlier when my dad was up that she was constantly begging him to take some of the money out and pay off their mortgage. And he didn't listen to that, and now it's all gone. And now my parents are arguing. And I suggested to my dad that he take whatever money he had left and buy 40% silver Kennedy half dollars. And the reason I'll let you pause the video to think about the reason I really loved those back in the early 2000s. Well, silver was $4 an ounce, which made those coins worth about 55 to 60 cents a coin. And I remember thinking, if you buy them, the worst case that could happen is that they're worth 50 cents each eventually, and you lose like 10%. I remember thinking, how many investments can you guarantee will only lose 10%? There aren't that many, right? And I suggested this to my parents. They didn't listen to me. In fact, they thought I was crazy. Gotta remember, I was spending a lot of time searching through quarters and half dollars and pennies, and I was falling behind in school. My teachers were complaining because I didn't want to study for the classes that I didn't like, right? I loved math and science and a lot of the other classes, especially language arts. I would just completely fall behind in. And my teachers would complain that I was behind in my homework, and meanwhile I'm searching through coins and building chemical reactions at home, and I was silver plating. I discovered how to electroplate stuff with silver. I took all my family's car keys, home keys, and plated them with silver. And it just drove my family nuts. And then now I'm suggesting to my dad he needs to take all his money and buy silver. Oh my God, there's no way my parents are going to listen to that. Now fast forward 22 years later, now my dad says, he still blames me for the fact that he didn't listen to me. He said, had you just not been so crazy about it and almost going mentally ill about it, maybe I would have bought the silver. But he still doesn't want to listen to me about the silver or the bismuth or the rare earth metals. And so I guess 22 years from now, he'll still complain to me. He might appear to me as a ghost and still complain about how crazy I was 22 years earlier, right? Anyway, but so he didn't listen to me. But I remember thinking, you got 10% downside, and look at where silver was just 20 years earlier, right? It's $4 an ounce now. 20 years ago, it was $50 an ounce. It might have been $100 if you adjust for inflation. And how many investments I knew nothing about where silver was used or why the Hunt brothers even bought silver. I was just purely looking at numbers, and I suggested that. And I guess 22 years later we get a similar opportunity about bismuth. I'm actually kind of heartbroken because my video got 200 views, and now I'm thinking this might actually work. We might actually Hunt brothers bismuth. But I'm a little bit heartbroken because if it works, I'll be a billionaire overnight, but at the same time, my art career in making bismuth will kind of end right there. And it's a mixed bag. With the money, I'll probably reinvent myself again, but I'm having so much fun right now doing it. Anyway, I still want it to happen though, just for the history books. Anyways, November 7, 50 pounds of bismuth, please. Thanks for watching.